Hey, it's Mila. Welcome back to my channel.
I go around and I go around and I go around, I go around. I'm always out, I am always out, I am always out, I'm always out. I keep running so I don't have to go.
I have a Dyson fan on today because it's like super muggy and gross and it's like raining outside, so I can't open my window. I'm praying to God you guys cannot hear it. I mean, we'll see. If you guys can hear it in the background in this video, it literally is the quietest fan on the market. If you guys can't hear it, it is the quietest fan on the market. If you can hear it, it's all lies. So if you're new here, my name's Mila. I make everything from college, lifestyle, and bookish type content. So if that sounds fun, definitely hit the subscribe button down below so you're updated every single time that I post. For the rest of the summer and also for the month of September, we're going to be doing minimum two videos every single week, sometimes two, sometimes three when school starts. Actually only two, well, for September, and then October, November only one, because it's gonna be a lot this year. But yeah, basically today what I wanted to do is to just like give a few college tips because I'm going into my final year of mechanical engineering. So I feel like I've learned a lot in these past few years. There have been ups, there have been downs, there have been hard times, easy times, like everything in between. So I figured like I'm pretty qualified to give advice. I'm also, as I said, I'm an engineering major. So I feel like if these tips work for me, you know that they work, because Eng it's a tricky one. It's a very tricky one. I never really made like particularly like Eng videos, but kind of like going along with this, I want to do a little like series where I do have two more videos coming up with more like Eng things. Obviously, like if you're not an Eng, I'm sure you guys can like relate in your other classes, like maybe not to everything, but like to at least a portion of it. So if you're excited for that, definitely subscribe because it's coming out in the next month. 100% in the next 30 days after this video comes out, it's going to be coming out. But yeah, today it's just basically more general things, and at the end of today's video I do want to touch a bit more about like engineering specific things because that's like what I know best. It's actually so weird making this video because this is literally the last time I'm going to be making college videos in the fall because I graduate after that. I don't know, it's so weird, but then I said like I really do want to like pump out college content because this is literally my last year. Exciting, but also like kind of scary. But yes, either way, let's get right on into today's video. So obviously there's some like basic health and like time management tips. Sleep, actually eat, drink water, don't go crazy on coffee and like energy drinks and stuff like that. Like those basic things that you've seen in everyone's videos, I'm not going to talk about because like we all know it and it's like wasting time. I'm gonna get like right into like the core of like important things, like important topics. Like this is more like tips for these specific situations, not just like overall general college tips, because I feel like this is gonna help you out more and it's what like took me a few years to learn. The first we're gonna talk about balancing your schedule. So obviously time management is a huge thing that you're gonna learn, and it's a lot of trial and error. Like I've tried some methods, those have worked, those didn't work. There were some semesters when I was like not busy at all and I wasn't really on top of my things, but then this past semester I had so much going on. Like I was literally taking 6 classes, I was doing 18.5 credits, I had 2 big design projects, and I was the president of my sorority. Like I literally set myself up for failure. That semester everything got done and everything worked out, but then other semesters when I didn't have as much going on, I basically had nothing going on compared to this past semester and nothing was working out. So this is a big thing. Like these are things that work for me, tips that I learned. So the first thing I have over here is to plan it all out. It's like literally plan every single thing out. Like I know some people just do a list of things that they want to do per day. Other people do like time blocking. I've realized that for me, time blocking really helps. Like obviously you don't always know how long things are going to take. So it can get annoying when you see that things are kind of like not when you schedule them to be. It's like moving things around. So yes, I get that that's kind of like annoying. But time blocking and telling yourself, okay, like I'm gonna do this at this point of the day. It's not like a list because it's not like, okay, I can do these in whatever order I want, whenever I want. Like, no, it's like from 10 to 11 p.m. a.m. we're gonna be doing this class, these exercises, and then when it's done, like obviously if you're not finished your exercise, finish your exercise. But if you're not finished everything, who cares? It's fine, move on to something else. That is something that I really started doing this past semester when I had so much going on. And yeah, sure, I didn't do everything that I planned to do in these little time blocks, but it actually helped me like be on top of everything because I was doing a little bit of everything instead of like focusing 100% on one class and like pushing everything to the side. So yes, plan everything out. I personally really love time blocking. That's like me personally. There are a bunch of other methods, but like go see what works for you, trial and error. Like basically use the first like maybe 2 months of school to see what method works for you. So then by the time that like next semester comes in, like winter semester, you guys know like what works for you, and immediately from day one you can go do that. Also, a big thing, actually schedule in time for yourself when you're doing this. It sounds so stupid having to schedule in like time to literally wash my hair, time to like read, time to do my YouTube. I mean, YouTube is like work, but literally time to wash my hair. I schedule that in because if not, I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna do later. Like if you do not schedule the self-care in, you're just gonna be working 24/7. You're gonna be burnt out. You're gonna feel disgusting. You're gonna be like, I cannot do this anymore. Like you're gonna burn out so much faster if you do not keep time for yourself. And when you actually time block, you're like, okay, if I don't finish this task by 10 p.m., who cares? 10 to 11, it's me time. I do what I want. I watch Netflix. I read. I call a friend, whatever. Give yourself that time every single day so you actually feel like you have a life. Like, for lack of a better way to explain it, you actually feel like you have a life. You're doing something besides school, because it's those things that are gonna actually like get you going, because you're not like focused on school 24/7. Like you have a life, you have things that you want to do, you have time to do what you want to do. So you're actually going to be more motivated in school, because you're like, okay, when I'm done doing all of these things, like when the clock hits 10 p.m., I'm done. For me, how that works was that I would be studying at school until like 9:30 p.m. every single night. And then by the time that I got home at 10, I was like, this is me time. So from when I got home, I did not touch anything school related. Like I didn't even take my like laptop out of my bag some nights. You know, like that is how it works for me, because I was like, I mean, also I said I get more work done in the library. So that's how I did it, because I knew sometimes, okay, like I will probably continue doing work at home if I'm at home, but like having that clear, like distinct cutoff, you do what you want, you have time for you, and I swear to God, you feel so much better. Another little thing in this scheduling portion, avoid overcommitment. We all want to do as much as we can, take on as much as we would like to take on, because we think that it's gonna either look better for our CV, or it's gonna actually like give us time to do everything that we want, like see friends, get good grades, work and everything. But also you need to be realistic with yourself. Like back in January, February, I was doing everything that I told you about, plus I was working on top of it, and I was like, I can handle it, like I'm fine. But I really couldn't, and it was only when I quit my job that I was like, I actually have time to breathe. I feel so much better, and I started performing better in school, and I was doing better in my personal life, because I had, even if I was working 6 hours a week, having those extra 6 hours every single week changed so much. So just be realistic with yourself. Am I doing too much? Like, is my mental health okay? Can I actually handle it? And if you're seeing that there's something gnarly going well, see, okay, what isn't like a super big priority? Like for me, work, I was like, okay, I work for 6 hours. It's not that much, you know? Like, do I necessarily need the money? Not really, because like it gives me under $200 every 2 weeks. Is it gonna change if I don't have that money? Not really, you know? So I was like, okay, it's fine. Like obviously I know some people like actually need to work, and like for you that's just gonna become one of your like higher priorities. For me, it wasn't one of my priorities, you know? So I was like, okay, this is something that I can cut out. And when I tell you that, I was doing so much better since I quit work. Again, I was more present like in the sorority, like problems did not arise as fast, or it's like it was so much easier fixing things because I actually had the time to think about it. School, this was when everything kicked off in my 2 huge massive design projects, and I actually had the time to like actually sit down and think more about it. I'm sorry, this piece of hair is like kind of bothering me. I don't know if it looks weird, but it's kind of like coming in my face. So we're gonna, okay, I hope this looks good, because it was like kind of like bothering me how it was like flying down in my face. But yeah, this is when my 2 big design projects kicked off, and yes, it's 6 hours, but that 6 hours made a huge difference. I could sit down and like actually think and brainstorm. Basically, like long story short, we had a design and there was things wrong, we couldn't like fix it, and then I like really sat down to think about it, and then I was like, oh my god, like why don't we try this? And that thing kickstarted the entire like second phase of this project, and final project was literally based off of that thing that I could only think about, because I actually had the time to think, you know? It sounds crazy, but I actually had the time to think. So yeah, like just be cautious of what you commit to. because when you overcommit, you're not going to be performing as well in everything. So you do have to prioritize. Like, I know obviously, as I said, work is more important for like more prominent for some people, so maybe you have to sacrifice on your social life, but not as much. You know, you can make compromises, like go study with your friends, actually get studying done, but see your friends when you study, and that way the time that you be taking away from like being social, like instead of going out to restaurants for like 3 hours, spend that time in the library, and then you would have saved 3 hours technically, you know, like just see how you can move things around. If you kind of like want more tips about like time management and stuff like that, leave it down below, because again, I've tried it all. I've literally tried it all, and I can make a separate video about it, but that's basically all that I wanted to say over here for time management. Now let's move on to setbacks. So setbacks as in things happen with school, grades, you don't perform as well, like those type of setbacks. Obviously it's a setback, like you're not super happy about it, let it out. Like, I know that sometimes, like, obviously we're told to like hold it in when things don't go well, and honestly sometimes when you fail an exam, you just want to cry. Take the time to cry, like literally take the time to cry, get it all out of your system, release all this tension, and then after, like, reflect back, be like, okay, what happened, what could I have done better? Maybe you, like, being honest with yourself, you were like, I did not study as much. Okay, perfect, we found out what happened, so how can we improve that for next time? Like, how can you study better? What did you not do this time that you should do next time, you know? Or it's like, you studied so hard and it didn't work out. Okay, a little harder to solve, but see, like, what did you do? Like, did you actually understand these exercises? Like, if you go back now, can you still solve these problems? If you take the test again, can you like properly answer these theory questions? You know, like, do you actually understand, or you thought that you understood, you know? This kind of like goes in with like just life in general. When something bad happens, cry, release your emotions, and after be like, how can we improve from here? You know, like, obviously for a test, if you studied super hard, it might be hard to see where it is, but just like talk to your teachers, be like, hey, like, I studied really hard, I really thought I understood, I don't know what happened. Like, they can probably help you out more than I can help you out over here, because I feel like it's very like case specific. It's also me and my classes, it's a lot of like math, problem solving, like physics, so I feel like it's easier to see what you don't understand, because for me, a lot of times it's like I don't do well because there's like certain scenarios, and it's a scenario that I thought I understood but I actually didn't, you know? If it's a more theory thing or a non like science mathy type of class, I'm probably not the best one to give advice, because most of my classes are like I'd say 95% of my classes are like math or physics based. So other type of classes, I can't really comment much about it, but go to your teachers, because they can, or your TA. Honestly, if you have a good TA, go to your TA. They can help you, you know, like look through things, see what went wrong, and explain it in ways that you can actually understand, because chances are, even if you studied super hard, there's an understanding gap, you know? And when you find out the specific thing that you don't understand, you can become more aware of like, okay, like maybe I didn't think this was super important, but it actually is. How can I spot the things that are super important next time that I wouldn't think are important but that actually are? You know, like, talk to your TAs, talk to your teachers, and just try to see like what went wrong and how you can improve, so you don't, oh my god, my Siri's on. Also, another thing, realize that everyone struggles, like everyone fails tests. Like, most people who I know have failed a class. It's more common than you realize. Like, obviously there's these people who you don't think that they've, oh my god, I gotta sneeze. I ended up meeting someone back in March, and we started talking, and I was telling, and I think this person opened up to me about how they weren't doing super well in school and it was hard for them, and I was like, honestly, me too. Like, I've been through the trenches, you know? Like, I've had my very low points. Don't really want to talk about them over here, but most of my friends know, like, I've had my very like low points. And when I told this person who I had just met, he was like, honestly, I would have never expected, because you look like you're super smart and you have everything together, and you can, like, you just look like someone who's very smart, and like it shows you someone who's very smart. And I was like, I mean, thank you, but I've also failed like like at least a class per academic year, you know? Just because someone looks like they're super smart and they have everything figured out, they really don't. Because again, like, this person thought that I was like 3.5 GPA plus, I was getting amazing grades in all of my classes, but I was like, no, that's very unrealistic for me, you know? Like, just because someone looks like they have their everything together, they really don't. Like, everyone is struggling. Yes, obviously there are those outliers, that like one person in your class who just grasps things like that. Those are the exception, you know? Like, 99.9% of your class is not like that. People just find ways that work for them to get good grades. They have to make their own compromises, their own sacrifices, do like mess around with their own priorities. Like everyone struggles, everyone is in this together, everyone fails tests, everyone fails a class. Again, most people who I know have gotten like under 30% on a midterm. Like me personally, the worst I've gotten is, I remember like just for an example, there's one electronics class I took last winter that I actually dropped last minute because I was like, there's no way in hell that I'm gonna like pass this class. This class, I'll just tell you about the midterm to show that like literally everyone is in the same boat as you. I got a 5 out of 15 on this midterm. No, I got a 3. I got a 3 out of 15 on this midterm. Do you guys understand? Like that is a 20%. I got 20% in the test. The prof ended up like boosting my grade because it was so bad. So I ended up getting 5 on 15. But you know, like it happens to everyone. Like everyone has those bad days. Someone who I know got a literal 2% on a test. Doesn't mean that they're not smart. Doesn't say anything about their intelligence. It's just like, it happens. You know, like it sucks, but it happens. It's much more common. Sorry, I thought I saw something weird behind me. It's much more common that what you expect, people just don't talk about it. You know, but it's common. Everyone is struggling. You are not alone. Trust me, you are not alone. Now let's go to talk about feeling overwhelmed. So again, as you can see, this isn't like specific tips. It's like tips for when this is the situation. Because again, this is just more realistic college experience, you know, because I've been overwhelmed. I've had setbacks. I've had my like seasonal depression, like literally every single semester. These are the things that I feel like are the most important from like a college tip video. But yeah, feeling overwhelmed. Kind of going back to what I talked about before and like scheduling, make a list. Like when you are overwhelmed, you're like, I have so much to do. I don't know how I'm going to manage it. Make a list of everything. Like also, oh my God, I'll actually see if I can find this. Because during finals this semester, I was so overwhelmed. Like I was like, this is not it, right? I made a list of absolutely everything that I had to do from April 1st until March 1st. This included like studying these specific topics for my finals, doing these specific problems, like watching these lectures, reading these things, like writing papers. Because for some reason, let me just give you context. Oh my God, from April 1st to May 1st, I had 5 finals, 2 lab reports, 2 huge design projects, 2 big reports that I had to hand in, and maybe like 4 other papers. Yes, that is a lot. But I literally wrote down every little tiny minuscule thing I had to do. Like let's say I had to write the intro for this. I literally write down intro for this paper for this class. I wrote down absolutely everything. It was so many pages long. And where is it? I really hope that I can find it because it's absolutely insane. But looking back, this helped me so much. Okay, I'm not finding it, but literally everything for every single class. And I made the list of everything I had to do. And then every single day I would go through that list, be like, okay, what are we accomplishing today? And I made a smaller list like on the top page. And I just crossed off everything from that list. Yes, it was so overwhelming. But as the month progressed, as I checked off more things from this list, it just motivated me to do more because I was like, okay, like everything's getting crossed off. I'm handing these things in and I'm getting my grades and my grades are amazing, you know? That, yes, was absolute chaos. It was so overwhelming. But having that list with absolutely everything I had to accomplish this month helped me so much. Because there's just something in your brain when you cross something off, you're like, look at me, I'm on a roll, like I got this. That is my biggest tip for you because that is what really helps me. I know for some people that makes them more overwhelmed. For me, that's what helped. Also, discover how you need to get in the zone. Me personally, just like I would go to the bathroom in the library and just dance in a bathroom stall and like sing, like lip sing, you know? It was so random, but that got me going. Like I would go sing one song and after casually walk back as if nothing happened to my table and I would get in the zone. Find what works for you. For me, it's movement and music. For you, it might be something else. Like find what that thing is and then use that as like an on switch for your brain. Be like, okay, we're gonna do this for 5 minutes. Once that's done, we're locking in for an hour, grinding it out. Also, kind of going along with this, take breaks often and walk around. Like I would go for little walks around the library because that kind of like made me disconnect from this and be like, okay, we're gonna like calm down and then go back. Think of it as a HIIT workout. You know, you go super hard for a little while, then you bring it down, you walk it out, you breathe, you relax, and you go back in again. But if you go like super intense for super long, your body cannot do it, and like it's also not gonna have the same effect, because when you bring your heart rate down, go back up, down, back up, it's better for your health than if you just went constant and like this certain like heart rate. You know, this works in fitness, so why wouldn't it work in your brain also? You know, I personally like doing 1 hour, because again, with my like the length of the exercises that I do, sometimes 30 minutes you don't get anything done, so I like doing an hour and a half. But I take a 10 to 15 minute break after all of that. I walk around, I go outside, get some fresh air, like move around in your breaks. So there's a type of like physical like disconnect also. Like you're not just like scrolling there on your phone. Like, yeah, I scroll on my phone, but I actually physically remove myself from the space. So once I sit back down in that chair, I'm like, let's go, you know? And then when you start everything, do the most daunting task first. Like, everyone says this. I feel like this is the only, like, cliche, like, college advice I'm giving you guys. Do the most daunting task first. Because even though you don't want to do it, like, if you don't want to do it now, you're not going to want to do it more in, like, 3 hours when you're tired and you're hungry. You know, get that out of the way. Like, I would always do my most daunting task before 10 a.m. Once 12 hit, I was like, oh my god, like, it's done. This is amazing. But then if I had started at, like, 3, I would just be like, I don't want to do it, I want to do something else, and then I wouldn't have done it, whereas in the morning, I would have got it done in 2 hours. You know, like, always start with your most daunting task, because once you get that done, you're on a roll. Like, yeah, sure, maybe in the first few hours when you start studying, you're not going to get the ball rolling as fast, because you're not, like, accomplishing as many tasks, not crossing off as many things, but once you cross off that big thing, everything just comes to being crossed off. We're gonna talk about being burnt out also. So halfway through the semester, like pretty much after midterms, there's always a little spike and slope. No, I don't know, but like it goes down, you know? And I've noticed this in myself, I noticed this in my friends, in my major and other majors also. Like everyone has this little like mid-semester slump type thing. So how do we battle this mid-semester slump? Because trust me, I've been having this mid-semester slump for years, and I have finally mastered how to not have it affect you. So take time for yourself. You wouldn't think like, okay, I have so much going on, I can't get myself to do anything. Why should I take time for myself? I'm just wasting more time. No, take time for yourself, take care of yourself, like give yourself a day off. Do what you want to do so you actually have the energy to come back. You know, because if you're dead, you don't have any energy, you haven't been taking time for yourself because it's midterms week and you've been like pushing yourself to the absolute limit, obviously you're not going to have any more energy. If you've been having coffee and energy drinks every single day, 3 times a day, your energy levels are going to be out of whack. If you're not eating properly because you're studying 24/7 and your library doesn't allow you to bring food, you're not going to be at peak performance, you know? Like, take time for yourself, recoup, restore, do an everything shower. Literally spend a day in bed watching Netflix if you have to. Do what you need to do for you. Take a few hours, take one day, take a weekend. If you can, take a week. Like me personally, I like taking 2 days when I don't do any school or any sorority things. I think of myself, I do what I want to do, I put myself first. If I miss a class, I miss a class, but it doesn't matter because this is me like reprogramming myself to be able to like do this again. Obviously, I'm not telling you to miss classes, but if that's what you need to do for you, you have to do it. Like non-conventional college advice, because normally everyone says like don't miss classes, but if you have to miss a class for you, miss that class. Okay, so you took that time for yourself. What you want to do after having this time for yourself, you want to get yourself excited to come back. So get inspired. For me, I love just like putting on a video of someone studying. There's something so motivating about it. And I've also made like a video like that in the past last semester. I'm going to be making one in the fall again this semester. Like study with someone on YouTube, or if you study with a person, maybe don't go to a cafe. If you can be like, hey, we're not talking, great, do a cafe. Personally, me and my friends, we cannot, you know, or if we go to a cafe, we sit at different tables, you know, so you still have that motivation to come back, the inspiration of seeing the other person studying, but there's no like temptation to talk because you guys like literally have to like stand up, walk to the other person, and you're not gonna do that. Like, we're all lazy, we're not gonna do that. Or create, like, sometimes what I like to do is to literally go on Pinterest, take an hour out of my day, make a like good grades, great students, like engineer, motivation board, and then I just like look at that for 5 minutes and I'm like, okay, let's go. You know, like, just get inspired, get yourself excited to go back, like, make yourself want to accomplish things, and then we're gonna get the ball rolling and we're gonna start getting like our work done and leaving this little burnt out bubble. Also, if you're burnt out, chances are there's a routine that you've been doing that is not working out. Like, you probably feel the most burnt out when you've been like studying, grinding nonstop for a test, obviously because your routine changed, and for the past 5 days you were in the library 24/7 looking at the same course. Like, obviously you're gonna be burnt out because it's the exact same thing every single day. So change up the routine, you know, like, even it can be as small as like, okay, I stopped working out this week because I had midterms or finals. Okay, great, those are done, let's get back into working out, you know, and just that little thing is going to change. Like, obviously working out, like, it does boost your energy levels and stuff like that. Or let's say like you stopped seeing your friends because you were studying. Okay, we found out what changed, let's go out, see my friends today, go grab lunch, go out, do whatever I want. Okay, now like something changed in my routine, I'm ready to go back, you know, like, make these little changes. Like, for me, most of the time it's like I started reading again at night, or I started going out again, you know, like, these small routine changes are gonna like make you bounce back from this slump, because you're like, because the routine that puts you into the slump is not there anymore, you know. Like, for me, I realized it's really that sudden, very intense change of routine that got me in the slump, and once we branch out, no more slump. So those are like basic college tips. Now I have a few things more like engineering related, but I'm pretty sure like people not in engineering can like benefit a little bit from over here. So I just want to take the next like few minutes to talk about more engineering things. I don't have that much because I feel like the main things that I learned are what I like talked about before. But for engineering classes, do not underestimate the theory. Like, I took fluid mechanics 1 last summer, I took fluid mechanics 2 like this winter, and theory is a major part of the class. Like, I forget the breakdown in fluids 1, but in fluids 2, 30% of our final exam grade was on theory. You know, like, yes, obviously you do have to know how to solve problems, but when you get into more design things, it's really the theory that is gonna like get the ball rolling. Like, when I had to design a washing machine for a huge project like this past semester, it was really the theory that got us to figure out, okay, like, how do we do this, or like, what is the best way to do this, or how do I calculate this specific thing? Because when you get more advanced and you have like design projects, they don't really give you all the information that exercises give you. It's mainly like, okay, like, the requirements are this, and go for it. Like, for us, basically, it was like, build whatever washing machine you want to build. It has to be portable, it has to wash 5 kilograms of clothes, it has to be designed with a safety factor of a minimum 2. That's it, right? And I mean, obviously it has to be like reasonably priced. Go wild. And it's like, where the hell do we even start, you know? And it was really the theory that got us to kind of like figure out like what routes we need to go. And like, you wouldn't think that because it's so much like practical application engineering, but like, no, like, if you don't understand the theory, if you don't know where things come from, then you can't really like solve these type of problems when you're faced with them. And again, it's something that I really only saw like last semester, because I was like, okay, in your exams, even if there's like no theory in the exams, just solve the problems and you're fine. Like, no, like, actually understand the theory, know these specific little cases, because if it comes up in the future, in future classes or in work, like, you're gonna be so much more grateful that you actually paid attention in school to the theory than having to like Google it, waste who knows how long trying to find it. Because like, obviously, yeah, sometimes you can find information fast, other times for some reason it's nowhere on the internet and ChatGPT is just like, yeah, buddy, like, I can't help you. You know, like, actually pay attention to the theory, because again, that is what like really helps me in this like washing machine design class. Like, that was the only like really like study tip I could give. And here I just want to talk more about like motivation, I guess you can say. So this little tip, it really applies, I think, any major. I just put it in this like section because it's conversations that I've had with people And like if people tell me, oh, I was like maybe thinking of switching into this, I was like, I love to hear that, but also like, are you sure, you know? Or I know people younger than me who were thinking of like joining Eng when I was like in my first or second year, and I was like, I really struggled my first year, you know? And I was like, I love to hear that, but are you sure, you know? Every single time that I have this type of conversation with people, I always say like, it takes more than hard work. Like it takes a passion and an actual love for this. I was working my ass off. I was struggling. I was crying. My mental health was horrible. I almost dropped out. But the only reason why I didn't was because I actually wanted to be here. Like I actually loved Eng. I loved the idea of it. I had a goal for what I want to do in my future. Like I've always known that this is what I wanted. I was so sure of it. And it's me like knowing myself, knowing like this is for me, this is what I want, like having an actual passion for it, that kept me going. Because if you know me, my personal life, I struggled. I finished my first year of engineering. There was just one class. I tell this to everyone and they're all like, it can be that class, but I'm like, no, it's literally this first year class, my first semester class that almost made me drop Eng. And to this day, I'm going into my final year. To this date, that is, I've never despised a class with that much passion. This is a first year class, you know? It was ordinary differential equations. It was just a type of math that was so different, like, because Cal, like, it makes sense to me. This type of math, it did not make sense to me. And it's weird because this comes back in like other classes that I've seen in the future. But in these classes, I actually understand what's going on because I understood like the basics of that class. But yeah, going back to my first semester, this class I could not pass for the life of me. Like I took in fall semester, I failed it. Took in winter semester, I failed it. Took it summer semester, literally passed it with the minimum passing grade in that class. And I was like, you would think that after 3 times you would learn what's going on in this class, but no, like I tried so hard. I was like, there's no way, like, because I remember I failed it a second time and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna put my heart, body, and soul into this class. I was on top of it summer semester. I was grinding it out. When I handed in the final exam, I was like, I'm gonna fail. I was so sure I was gonna fail. Again, I barely passed it. That was my breaking point. That was literally my breaking point. Like this first semester class was gonna be like the end of my like engineering degree. But no, I was like, I remember I went out to dinner and I was talking with one of my friends and I was like, this is my situation. I generally do not know if I can do this for the next few years. And then I forget like what he said, but we were like talking after he was like, okay, like give yourself one more semester, power through for one more semester. If you really can't, then screw it, change majors, but try for that one more semester. And I powered through. I tried for that one semester. It was easier because he was in like 2 of my classes, so it was easier like being like motivated. But I powered through. I just fell in love with it. Like obviously I've always had the passion for engineering, but it was really like me knowing this is what I want that I was able to do it. Like, you know how everyone says like succeeding is hard and giving up is hard, but like pick your heart. Like I literally picked my heart. I was crying. I was like, when I tell you that I was going through it, I was going through it. I feel like I'm probably gonna like talk to you about my full experience maybe in next April after finals, because that kind of like closes the college like chapter of my life. But yeah, like if it wasn't for this passion of mine, then I would not have, like, I would not be here right now. I literally would not be here right now, you know? Yes, it does take passion. I'm pretty sure every major does take passion. But if you have that passion for engineering, then you're gonna be fine. Like, trust me, you're gonna be fine. Everyone who drops out is because they don't have that passion, because the hard, it's not a motivating hard for them, you know? Like, it's hard as in, like, why would I even want to do this? For me, it's hard because I want to do this, you know? So, yes, it does take so much more than hard work. It takes more than just being smart. It actually takes drive, passion, and perseverance, because this major destroyed me. Like, absolutely destroyed me. Like, brought me to the pits of hell, dragged me around, threw me in the lava, literally pushed my head down, like made me literally suffocate on this lava, burn myself alive, brought me back to life just to burn my flesh, body, muscles, bones, and then pushed me back up to the surface, and that's where I am right now. That was a little graphic, but that's literally how I describe, like, how I feel like these past few years have been. And just because I had the passion, I'm here right now. So yes, it does take so much more than hard work and just being smart. It takes a passion and a love for it, because if not, in any major, you're not gonna be motivated, you're not gonna do it, and chances are you're gonna fail more and you're just not gonna be happy, you know? And finally, I want to finish off this video with bringing up this point again. Everyone is struggling. You're not alone. It might seem like you're alone, but you're not alone. Like, if you actually like what you want to do, you're gonna power through. I know a lot of people, they don't like what they're doing and they take time off to change majors, and yes, that time might be super stressful and stuff like that, but because I have a bunch of friends who have been like that, when these friends find out what it is for them, everything changes because they have that passion, you know? But yeah, everyone is struggling, whether it's struggling because they love what they're doing, or they're struggling because they don't know what they're doing and this doesn't motivate them and stuff like that. Everyone is struggling. Everyone has a set of problems. You are not alone. Like, everyone is going through it. It's going to be a tough 3 to 5 years of your life. But honestly, like, I'm not going to say college was the best time of my life, but I learned so much about the world, about myself, about other people. Like, again, at the end of this year, I do want to, like, this academic year, I do want to make a like huge recap of my experience, just to kind of like have that to look back on. But yeah, like, these are basically my big college tips that I've learned throughout the years. A lot of like more practical things. Obviously, there's the basics, like eat good, don't overdo it with energy drinks, like don't drink. Oh my god, it's like actually coming down outside my window. It's like pouring. These are probably the most important things. Yikes. Okay. Wow. Anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely leave a thumbs up. No, subscribe and leave a thumbs up. All my socials, I link them below if you want to go check me out. My TikTok, Instagram, and Goodreads. I post a lot on my Insta stories, so if you kind of want to follow me around when school starts, see what I'm working on, what I'm up to, and things like that, I post a lot. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for me. So stay safe, protect your vibe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, guys.